na maana. Kumbuka, wengi huzungumzia tu mafanikio yao na si changamoto walizozipitia na ni mara ngapi walianguka. Tia bidii, muda wako utafika.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii usifadhaishwe, bonyeza *811*961#.
The next best Kenyan film.
He will not, and you know it.
He will.
Where are you from?
Good evening, Mrs. Kentai.
You know me?
I think we should just do as we're told. Your hard work.
Who's been telling them about me?
We know everything.
They know everything.
Is this what I think it is?
Long time no see. He complained a lot about you. Said you let yourself grow fatter and you dress like a grandmother.
Dad had a gun in the safe the whole time. Woman, is that you?
Okay, whose side are you on?
Finish your business.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you for making time to join us this afternoon. My name is Jacky, Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Well, we have so much in store for you. And to kick us off, we cross over to Siaya County, where one man has been rescued from the collapsed mine in Abimbo village in Bondo, Siaya County. A body was also retrieved from the rubble on Saturday morning. 8 miners who were buried alive when the mine collapsed Thursday afternoon.
As families continue holding on to hope that their kin are still alive under the rubble of the 500 feet deep mining shaft, families of 2 victims already know the fate of their relatives who have been freed this morning. One came out alive. Unfortunately, the other was found dead. Bondo Deputy County Commissioner Richard Karani says the rescue mission is still ongoing as rescuers from Red Cross and Siaya County government do all they can to keep the men alive. He has urged residents to remain calm, expressing hope that the 6 will be rescued alive. The body of the deceased has been taken to Bondo Hospital mortuary as the survivor is discharged from hospital after undergoing minor checkup. The 8 were trapped at midday on Thursday as they went about their mining activities. Locals now want the government to regulate the small-scale mining industry as well as provide alternatives to the hundreds of youths plunging into the sector each year. Kamchemenza for Lunchtime News.
Now, camel owners in Isiolo's Merti area are counting losses amounting to millions of shillings after 315 camels were swept away by floods. The livestock keepers say floods caused by days of heavy rainfall in Isiolo, Meru and Laikipia has stretched the Ewasonyiro River to its capacity, breaking its banks.
Adan Galgalo, one of the camel owners, says he lost 115 camels to the disaster. He says they had urged the county government of Isiolo to dig trenches near the river to reduce the strength of the floods, but no help arrived.
Kutoka jana saa 8 mpaka wa leo tulikuwa tunangoja Red Cross watusaidie, serikali yetu watusaidie kwa kila hali na mali, kwa mbinu yoyote county. Hatujapata usaidizi yote mpaka sasa hii, na mali yetu yote imepotea. Hata tractor hata iwezi kusikana tractor ya county.
The residents say they have heard reports of camel sightings in places far away. Locals want the government to intervene and save the remaining animals.
Sasa tujiogamia mali iko sasa moja, unasikia moja iko 2, 3, 4, moja kila mali, paka upande ya marti yote nasikia imefika. Tumeenda kwa serikali yetu, tumeenda kwa kaunti yetu, hatujapata usaidizi yoyote. Ukipigiwa kiongozi yetu, ukipigiwa simu wote ni wateja, wengine hata wa receive, ukiwaandikia message hawarudishi. Sasa tumepata hiyo shida na paka sasa hatujasaidika.
Jana yote karibu 80 na kitu iko ndani. Leo asubuhi kifika yote yamekusha. Hiyo ni hasara kubwa sana katika wilaya hii.
The owners confirmed that the animals were their only source of livelihood. Yusuf Hilo, Lunchtime News.
And on matters of health, the United States Agency for International Development has partnered with Wambiru County to improve the quality of health services and education in Maralal Town. The project, which is being implemented at a cost of 78 million shillings, is geared towards finding permanent solutions to challenges such as malnutrition.
Speaking in Maralal Town, Samburu County Deputy Governor Julius Leseto said the community health system seeks to improve community health services that are currently being provided by community health volunteers.
We are very encouraged because we have already formed so many community units. I think we have over 42 community units within the county that will be able to benefit from this fund. At least a 50 million kitty will be able to help this as seed fund and also the CHV's kits, so that it's going to be a workable solution, especially for what we've been doing on voluntary basis.
The county government and USAID Nawiri project have jointly set aside 78 million shillings towards implementation of community health systems. Rosmel Mbaluka, who works at Nawiri project, said the project was launched 2 years ago with a survey on malnutrition.
Ama kwa kila wa mama wawili mmoja ako malnourished. And hii inamaanisha mama akiwa na hiyo tatizo, nataka uimagine akiwa mjamzito, inamaanisha hapati afya bora, hapati chakula ya kutosha, na inamwelekeza kupata magonjwa ambayo yangezuiwa kama ungekuwa na afya.
The survey findings will be used to design a program that will be used by county government and other partners to reduce malnutrition in the county. Ruth Wamboy for Lunchtime News.
Now, Teso North, a Member of Parliament, has asked residents of Teso North not to be coerced into selling their little harvest at throwaway prices due to the relief food being given by both county and national government. Dr. Edward Oku noted that despite the area having received insufficient rains, the current rains could change their fortunes and help their produce fetch better prices. The legislator was addressing mourners at his village during the burial. He urged the villagers to support each other, especially now that most Kenyans are struggling with basic needs.
Chakula yetu imepungua. Mahindi ambayo watu wamevuna sehemu hii imekuwa kidogo. Chakula ni kidogo. Kwa hivyo nataka kuhimiza watu wetu tusiuze mahindi. Tafadhali tuweke hiyo chakula itusaidie mbele. Wale ambayo wanafanya kazi, vijana ambayo kama sisi ambayo tuko nje, tujaribu kusaidiana, lakini tuweke bidii pia. Mungu analeta mvua sasa, tupande mahindi ambayo we mwenyewe uliuza kwa shilingi 20 na unanunua kwa 100. Ndio nasema muhimu tuweze kuhakikisha vyakula tunaweka kama vile wazee wa zamani walikuwa wanafanya.
In the political arena, Baringo Senator Gideon Moi says he will push for the resettlement of all families evicted from the Mau Forest Complex. The KANU chairman, who visited the families at Sagamian in Narok South constituency, said the resettlement of the families must be treated with the urgency it deserves because many of the victims have nowhere else to call home.
Baringo Senator Gideon Moi says though he is aware of the suffering the people are going through, conservation is equally important.
There's real suffering, which is not tolerable in this day and age. That our fellow humans, our fellow Kenyans can be living in squalor to that effect. And they have their land, they have valid title deeds. But unfortunately, for one reason or another, they have not been adequately catered for, like other Kenyans.
The senator promised to do whatever he could to ensure the problems facing them were addressed once and for all.
I have taken it upon myself that that I will look into them. I will consult the relevant authorities and the leaders to find a solution. And our plan is that we do not want to go into the 2022 elections with this hanging over.
Elsewhere, Anglican Church of Kenya Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit has maintained that no politician will be allowed onto the ACK pulpit. Speaking at the Karisa Maitha grounds during the consecration and enthronement of then Captain Ruben Shukrani Katite as the second bishop of Malindi Diocese, Sapit said the pulpit is a sacred ground.
Wasi kama kanisa Anglikana Kenya, tumesema sherehe kama hizi ambazo tutakongamana, tunatambua tu wale wamefika na mtatuia radhi kwa sababu hatutawapatia nafasi ya kuzungumza, labda tutapata nafasi nyingine pengine kwa sherehe ya maamkuli na chakula, lakini kwa sasa hivi tulisema tutofautishe sherehe ya ibada na mengine.
Meanwhile, former Kenyan ambassador to Zambia, Sophie Kombe, together with religious leaders drawn from Kilifi County, have urged political leaders to exercise restraint and embrace peaceful coexistence as the 2022 general election draws closer.
Tumekuja kutoka madhehebu mbalimbali kwa neno moja, manake Mungu ni mmoja hata kama madhehebu ni tofauti. Ndio maana tumeshirikiana kilio chetu, naambiwa wawili watatu wakikutana neno lake liko. Tumekuja tukisema kwamba uchaguzi mzuri ni ule utakuwa wa amani, ule ambao utakuwa ni kila mtu anaenjoy yale matunda ya uhuru.
Parties in the country have been challenged to employ fairness and transparency in their primaries to promote democracy. The Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance has expressed fears that there may be less women elected to office if democracy is not upheld.
We are seeing active political mobilization, premature campaigns by major candidates. It's necessary that the government now moves in to implement without fear of favor the Political Parties Act as well as the Elections Act to ensure that a level playing ground is created, especially for the participation of women and youth in the 2022 general elections.
Leaders in TIT have urged the government to provide adequate security in the area in the wake of fresh banditry attacks led by Elgeyo Marakwet Deputy Governor Wesley Rotich. The leaders noted that insecurity had made the area lag behind in development.
It was an emotional send-off for the 4 victims who were killed by bandits in Kapkobil area in Marakwet East. Residents kept vigil in strategic areas as tension remained high in the region.
Tunataka tukuombe Mheshimiwa Rais, suluhisho ya haraka ni kwamba utuongezee sisi NPRs across, tupate NPR ikiwezekana hata 20 kwa kila kijiji.
Wamelala hapa wakiwa wamefariki si kwa sababu ni wahalifu, Si sababu walipigwa na polisi, sababu ni wahalifu. Hawa ni watu walipigwa na wakora kutoka sehemu ya Tiati, sababu walikuwa na chunga ng'ombe yao. Hawa waliuliwa na ng'ombe ikachukuliwa. Na sisi tunataka tuseme hivi, tuambie serikali, kama viongozi, kama jamii, sisi tumechoka na mashishi ya kila Jumamosi.
Insecurity has also interrupted learning in the region.
Kerio Valley ni kubwa sana, rais. Ukisema wanapewa 40 peke yake, ni kama tu unapewa sehemu moja. Na bado wanafunzi wataumia, watu wetu bado wataumia. Pia rais, ningependa pia utupatie RDU. Give us a good number of RDU so that our children will go to school, so that our community will move forward. Economy yao iweze kubadilika.
Ben Troinjue, Lunchtime News.
Well, that report by Ben Troinjue brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. More news coming up.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
The next best Kenyan film.
He will not, and you know it.
You will.
Where are you from?
Good evening, Mrs. Kentai.
You know me?
I think we should just do as we're told. Your hard work.
Who's been telling them about me?
We know everything.
They know everything.
Is this what I think it is?
Long time no see. He complained a lot about you. Said you let yourself grow fatter and you dress like a grandmother.
Dad had a gun in the safe the whole time.
Woman, is that you?
Okay, whose side are you on?
Finish your business.
Our leading businessman is leading from behind.
Hii si haki. Kusema kweli nilipaswa kwa nimemaliza masomo siku ya leo.
Na sio malize by the way, nani amekukataza? Na unasinya by the way.
I, Theophilus Atito, from Kisumu City, the land of the great people, I'm vying for the topmost position of this institution.
Atito, you can make me your first lady.
Mr. Man, what is funny?
Nothing, I just wanted to know how it feels to run at last.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Welcome back. Persons living with disabilities in Kilifi County have called on the National Council for Persons with Disabilities to waive the 500 shilling fee levied for assessment and registration. They say many PWDs could not afford the fee, a factor that had led to low registration and thus denying them the benefits such as tax exemption, among other privileges.
Speaking during celebrations to mark this year's World Disability Day, persons living with disabilities in Kilifi called for the waiver of the 500 shillings charged for assessment and registration. They said that many were unable to afford the fee, a situation that has seen many miss out on privileges such as tax exemption.
hii fee ya 500 iondolewe, alafu wafikiwe kule nyanjani, wafanyiwe assessment, wapate kadi. Ile kadi ndio inaweza mtu akagundulika kwamba yeye anahitaji ile 2000 ya Inua Jamii. Anaweza pata pia tools for trade kwa wale ambao ni walemavu wenye ujuzi, na pia vile tax exemption na waivers kwa wale ambao wanafanya biashara.
Kila mwaka ikifika mwezi wa 6 wa 7, budget huwa inapangwa. Sisi kama walemavu huwa tunawekewa pesa, lakini zile pesa zinaregea, na sijui tatizo huwa ni nini. Tatizo ni kuwa wale tuliowapatia nafasi ya kutushughulikia hawana passion ya hiyo kitu ama nini. Kwa sababu ukiangalia tuliwekewa milioni 10 miaka mitatu, milioni 10 inachukuliwa inaregeshwa.
Kilifi County has at least 20,000 people living with disabilities, with only half of the number said to be receiving the government stipend of 2,000 shillings every month. Meanwhile, the government has been urged to widen the social protection and cash transfer program to include those with minor forms of disability. Kiambu Chief of Staff Gibson Mburu is appealing to the county assembly members to come up with a bill that would create a directorate of people abled differently so that they can have one of their own advocate for their rights.
Any child or any person who is abled differently may at one point or another require assistance from another person, a caregiver, a parent or something. So it is good we consider transferring some cash to these families throughout the republic.
Kuna watu ambao wanataka kuanzisha biashara, na saa nyingine huwa wanasubuka wakiebwede kwa Ministry of Finance, tungeomba ikuwe devolved kwa sub counties, ndio watu wetu waweze wakitaka kuanzisha biashara ikuwe rahisi kwao, na hiyo mabarua inakuwa rahisi kuzipata.
Finally, parents have been urged not to hide their children who may be suffering from one disability or another. Lucinda Ritu, a teacher in Yatta Sub-County, Machakos County, who has been at the forefront in promoting the rights of children living with disability in the region, says this will go a long way in reducing stigma.
I get so concerned about children that I find on the streets. And sometimes you find even some have grown up along those streets, always begging, and people are using them this way. And we wouldn't want our children to end up there.
Nilikuja nikapata accident kwa kushika stima. Hapo ndipo nilikuja nikapelekwa hosi, nikatibiwa, nikapona. Mamangu ndipo alikuja akanileta kwa hii shule.
Na hurumianga watu tu ndio anapenda kuwa daktari ndio nikuwa na watibu huko. Pia naonanga hizo nguo zenye wamevaa za white zikiwa smart sana. Ngependa siku moja nijione kama nimevaa hiyo nguo ya white.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
In other news, the Ministry of Labour says it could take time to review workers' salaries following the move to block the gazettement of the Wages Council in court. The ministry has noted that the collective bargaining agreement that is conducted annually by different unions had been affected by the ongoing process.
Speaking during the annual Agricultural Employers Association conference, Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui noted that the gazettement of the council has been challenged in the High Court, paralysing the process of setting the minimum wage by the council as set in the Labour Act.
2 months ago, I gazetted the Wages Council, including some nominees from the employers and employees, the social partners in that sector. But going by the Kenyan spirit, some fellows thought that they were not suitable and they took everybody to court. And now we are in court. We don't know what we are facing. They will make all manner of allegations, not just for Wages Council, but all the appointments done by government in that Gazette notice, 243 appointments. So again, we are stuck there.
According to Chelugui, the move to bar the Wages Councils would have negative implications on workers' welfare in the coming days.
The Wages Council play a very important role in advising the Cabinet Secretary in determination of minimum wage and salary. So without it, we have a challenge in sustaining our CBAs, rely on the advisory from the Wages Council, and also employers, employees use that in terms of negotiating, and it allows employers to plan with predictability and certainty based on what has been recommended.
The CS says the matter is now in the hands of the Attorney General with the hope that it will be resolved fast and amicably.
Moving on, the long-awaited construction of Nanyuki Doldol Road has commenced after the government committed 600 million shillings for the first phase of the road. The tarmacking to bitumen standard will be done from Naibor to Ilpolei, a distance of 15 kilometers, and will take 24 months to complete.
The construction of the Nanyuki Doldol Road to bitumen standards has commenced following the allocation of 600 million shillings for the first phase of Naibor to Ilpolei. The 15-kilometer road is part of a promise made by President Uhuru Kenyatta during his tour of the area during his campaign, and is said to be completed in 2 years.
We will spot improve and routinely improve so that you can have a all-weather road all the way to Doldol and beyond. Even some of the networks within this region, which are important links, they are going to be done under that spot improvement so that we can have a all-weather road so that you can access anywhere, even if it is raining.
The road is key as it is set to open the region to other areas and improving trade.
For the longest time I can remember, this road has been a nightmare. In 2015, an ambulance was swept off by floods carrying a nurse, a driver, and a woman who was delivering. And to date, we've not even ever recovered their bodies. So to me, this road means everything.
After completion, the contractor will have to maintain it for 7 years to make sure that it is up to standard. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
And on news making headlines in the sports world, the Kenya national rugby team Shujaa has been relegated to the classification matches after being beaten 31-19 by South Africa in the Cup quarterfinals. The Kenyan team, coached by Innocent Simiyu, will now face United States this afternoon in the 5th place semi-final match. United States was beaten 28-12 by France in the second Cup quarterfinals. The Kenyan team had qualified for the Cup quarterfinals as second best loser after finishing third in Pool B with 5 points behind Australia and United States. Australia will face Argentina in the Cup semi-finals, while France will face South Africa in the other semi-final match.
Best passenger play for Kenya here in the Cup quarter-final in Dubai. Said they had to score, had to get something, because it's been all the champions so far, and they will get something. Maruma. Keep the ball, isn't it? And don't give them any sort of chance to turn the ball over at all. Victorious. So is Wapi, the captain, streaking down that left-hand side. Stops sensibly, of course. There's men on the right-hand side. One long pass. Ipi Vista. Davids. Zane Davids. Try number 1 for last week's champions.
West Ham United have no new injury concerns for the visit of Chelsea with Aaron Cresswell due to be assessed after missing the draw with Brighton because of back injury. Now, Chelsea defender Trevor Chalobah is unavailable, having been substituted in the win at Watford after injuring his hamstring. The Chelsea versus West Ham match will be one of 5 English Premier League matches on card today. Other fixtures for today follow in our sports diary. In other news, a family in Nairobi County is seeking financial assistance to enable their 6-month-old daughter to undergo heart surgery in India. The family of Monica Nyogondo says the baby was diagnosed with complex congenital heart disease. The family requires 2.5 million shillings to have the condition corrected. Well, we shall be bringing you that report later on in our subsequent bulletins. For now, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
The next best Kenyan film.
He will not, and you know.
You will.
Where are you from?
Good evening, Mrs. Kentai.
You know me?
I think we should just do as we're told. You're hard work.
Who's been telling them about me?
We know everything.
They know everything.
Is this what I think it is?
Long time no see. He complained a lot about you. Said you let yourself grow fatter and you dress like a grandmother.
Dad had a gun in the safe the whole time. Woman, is that you?
Okay, whose side are you on?
Finish your business.
Wambiru.